Oh, look at this cute puffball. He's so adorable.
Shut up! I'm the new meta! The new beta! And alpha! I'm Fury Warrior!
Yeah. You're such a furry warrior. I want to take you home and cuddle and then make you a bed and
I am angry! I am furious! I get enraged and smash hard and it's fury, not furry!
You like curry. Me too, you furry bundle of joy. You.
That's it! You goddamn sugar fart! I will show you what a real DPS looks like! With talents and gears and legendaries rotation!
If you like these kinds of videos and a lot of other stuff that you will find on our channel, like tier lists, like podcasts, kind of on a different channel, but still also on cooldown pieces on different topics of WoW, and of course the streams and everything that we do, please consider supporting us through our Patreon page with the link down below. There are actually a bunch of tiers that you can check out for different types of support levels, I guess that's what you would call them. And we have goodies for everything, basically. You can get wallpapers, access to bloopers and content, get into our Discord as well and our little Patreon club, and have monthly Patreon talks with us directly, talking about all sorts of videos, WoW stuff and channel, and essentially, you know, feedback for future things to come. And yes, it is a trying time for YouTube, and you might see a lot of people doing this as well, and yeah, it is what it is. If you like the content, you want to support us a little bit more, check the Patreon link down below. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for considering it, and let's check some Fury stuff, man. Your Double Arms Warrior adventures will start with no surprise with Sudden Death as the best option for raiding and for Venthyr warriors. This talent will give your attacks a chance to let you cast Execute regardless of the enemy's HP and reset its cooldown. Simple and easy, you'll like it. For Mythic Plus and AoE situations, you'll want to go for fresh meat. With it, your Bloodthirst will synergize even better with your Mastery, as using it on a new target will always enrage you, making you a killing machine on big AoE packs, as you will always be enraged to deal extra damage. On the second talent row, Double Time is usually the pick in raids if you need more mobility. This will increase the amount of times you can charge so that you can get back to smashing every freaking time you take that mechanic and you have to run away from the boss. If mobility isn't what you need, then go for Impending Victory. It will be a very powerful heal, especially when you take constant damage or just damage in general, so you can heal yourself fast and take a lot of pressure off of your healers. In Mythic Plus, or when you need an extra stun, Stormbolt will have your back. You'll have one extra CC to your kind of CC-less toolkit, helping you stun one target pretty often and from a very big range. On the next row, because you like to smash things fast, Frenzy will be your best buddy in raids and maybe in high keys as well, as long as you are not a vampire. This talent will give your Rampage a stacking haste buff every time you use it. Very strong when you need to smash buttons very fast in a very long boss fight. For your M+ AoE and vampire needs, go with Massacre. Your Execute will be usable much earlier, making you very powerful at sniping dying targets and the strongest guy around when dealing with a long Execute phase. On your utility row, more resistance will be the way to go, so get your Warpaint on. Having this will let you endure more when enraged, so you can keep on going and don't stop damaging. The other options can be useful when you are comfortable with the damage taken, but are usually niche picks. Next up, Cruelty will be your best choice for every content. With this talent, your Raging Blow will hit harder when enraged, it will have a higher chance to receive a reset when used, and it will synergize very well with your tier set. But more on that at the tier set section. On the level 45 row, brace yourself as all options are viable. For pure single target situations in raids, Dragon's Roar is still on top. It's a high damage with bigger damage when it crits ability, and it generates some rage, but please use it when enraged for more damage. For Mythic Plus and AoE situations, Blade Storm will be the way to go. This talent will synergize very nicely with the Signet of Tormented Kings, the Legendary, and the Merciless Bone Grinder Conduit, making you a god in every Mythic Plus you go. And thanks to the tier set and interaction it has with it, Meat Cleaver is finally a good pick for cleave situations and even in some Mythic Plus. Your Whirlwind will deal more damage and will double the amount of single target spells that it can cleave. More single target spells that can cleave means you will use a lot of Raging Blows and fewer Whirlwinds, exactly what you need so you can make use of the bonuses from your tier set. On the final row in Mythic Plus, AoE and before acquiring the tier set, Anger Management is still your go-to pick. This talent will reduce the cooldown of Recklessness every time you use Rage. More chances of getting that sweet Blade Storm from the Signet and more damage in general. After you get your tier set, you will want to swap to Reckless Abandon for raids at least. Now your Bloodthirst and Raging Blow will be transformed into a better version of themselves when you activate Recklessness, of course. Just be careful when the boss will move or pay attention to not jump into a mechanic you shouldn't when spamming that improved Raging Blow, as it will have a small charge attached to it. The last pick is very close Anger Management in raids before you get your tier set, but usually you will get the same effect from the Legendary, so it's rarely taken. When it comes to the best stats you can get, simming is the way to go. But I don't know how to sim, Flame. Well, don't worry, my information-hungry friend, as we have a simming video for you, but only check it out after you watch this one, cause algorithms. As a Fury Warrior, strength is still your best friend, so get that higher eye level piece in. After that, haste will make you smash faster, cause two big weapons hit better when they hit faster. It's taught in the second term of Smash School. Mastery will come very close to haste and will make you smash harder this time. Going further, versatility will be next, giving you both damage and a little resistance. And lastly, critical strike will be very close to versatility, but still a good stat. When going to an enchanter, ask for one Celestial Guidance enchant on one of your weapons. See if they have one Sinful Revelation enchant for your other weapon, especially when dealing with single target fights, and ask for one Lightless Force in case you are dealing with heavy AoE fights to replace Sinful Revelation. On your chest, go with the Eternal Stats enchant, especially in high-end content, and the Eternal Skirmish one for more single target damage output. Use the Heavy Desolate Armor Kit temporary add-on and you will be a little tankier for when those big hits come to your face, for whatever reason. Why are you pulling aggro, man? Use the Eternal Strength enchant on your hands, you will need it when handling two big-ass swords or even two little ones with single-minded fury. It's not the size that matters, okay? It's that there's two of them! Ha! For your cloak, the Fortified Avoidance enchant is the way to go and you will resist more of those hard-hitting AoE spells. In your gem slots, go for the Quick Jewel Cluster and the Tenet of Haste enchant on your rings to hit faster, of course. Don't forget to sim in case you have too much haste and change these with the counterparts that sims will recommend. Tell your alchemist you need Spectral Flasks of Power because you want to be a powerful warrior. Take some Potion of Spectral Strength as the best potion you can use in all the situations since more strength makes you a stronger warrior. It's science! As for your weapons, the Shaded Sharpening Stone and the Shaded Weight Stone will be the way to go because you can be more stoned. I mean, you can stone mobs. I mean, yeah! When hunger hits, calm it down with a Feast of Gluttonous Hedonism for more strength or swap to the Tenebrous Crown Roast aspect for more haste, usually in dungeons or if nobody has a feast. Because you ain't buying that shit is expensive, man. It's fucking expensive. With 9.2, although all Covenants are pretty close to each other, Kyrians have pushed a little further ahead. The Spear of Bashing Covenant ability is very flashy and will make your friends say, "Fuck, Flame has a big spear, he just popped that mobs." It will deal decent damage with a nice utility attached to it. What utility, you might ask? Well, every enemy hit by the spear cannot get out of its circle and it will be dragged back to it if it tries, if they are not immune to CC, of course. The signature ability will be the Summon Steward spell that will give you the File of Serenity, among other things. The file will be an improved Hellstone that will have 3 charges of healing and will clear all of your diseases, poisons, bleeds, and curses. Your best all-around Kyrian friend will be Forge Light Prime Mechanicos. With a 3 potency Conduit path for raiding and the 2 potency one for Mythic Plus and AoE, you will have access to some pretty nice traits. Brawn's Call to Action will be the first one, summoning Brawn, knocking enemies away, damaging them after, and healing your allies when needed. The Hammer of Genesis will follow and will provide you with a stacking haste buff whenever you hit a new target. Going further down the tree, the Soul Glow Spectrometer will give you a little extra priority target damage. For the final trait, you have the Effusive Anima Accelerator. This baby will attach an extra AoE damage to your Spear of Passion, and it will reduce its cooldown depending on how many targets it hits. For pure single target traits, Clea will be a little better than Mechanicos, and you will receive the critical strike you are missing with her tree. With a 2 potency Conduit path, the first pick will be Valiant Strikes. This one will be a utility trait, but still it will be useful to heal an ally when he or she drops low, and will increase your critical strike chance per stack when you will have access to the final piece of the puzzle. Mentorship, again, another utility trait, will increase the HP of all nearby allies when you are close to max health. Pointed Courage will be one of the critical strike provider, giving you a stacking critical strike chance depending on the number of enemies and allies around you. The Spear of the Archon option will bring again more critical strike for you when damaging high health targets. To end Clea's tree, you will have Light the Path. With this trait, every stack of Valiant Strikes will also add some critical strike, and when you heal an ally with it, you will get more critical strike. Yay! The other covenant that will be very close to the Kyrians as long as you can make the boss stay in your goddamn AoE will be the Night Fae. The covenant's special ability will be Ancient Aftershock, and like the spear, it deals a lot of AoE damage and has a small knockdown attached to it every time it deals damage. The signature ability of Night Fae will be Soul Shape. This will provide you with a small movement increase and a blink on top of it all. All Night Fae soulbinds will be good for almost all situations. The one that will be more useful in raids will be Dreamweaver, however. With a 3 potency Conduit's path, Pod Tender, the first trait, with which he will ensure that you can keep on smashing even when you fuck up and soak too much fire during progress especially, is going to start it off nicely. Next up will be Field of Blossoms, the haste-giving flowers that spawn whenever you use your Ancient Aftershock and will determine if you keep using Dreamweaver or go with Nia if you cannot stay in the garden. Waking Dreams will come in next and will give you a small shield when you drop under 80% HP. Finally, the Dream Delver trait will close Dreamweaver's arsenal and will provide you with a small stacking damage buff on every target you smash. Following down the paths recommended by us, you will need some conduits, clearly. So for your potency conduits, go for Deaths of Insanity. Firstly, for the extra recklessness duration. Your second potency conduit that will favor single target fights, and your tier set will be Hack and Slash. This conduit will give your Rampage a high chance to receive 1 extra charge of Raging Blow. It will also replace Depths of Insanity in Mythic Plus when using only 2 potency conduits, and you get to your 4 set tier piece. For AoE, Mythic Plus, and when using the Signal Legendary, you can swap Hack and Slash with Merciless Bone Grinder. With this conduit, your Whirlwind will start fucking instead of just softly slapping after you finish Bladestorming. In other cases, before you get Forced, you can go for the Covenant-specific conduit as your third choice, in case you need a third one. So you will pick Piercing Verdict as Kyrian for more spear damage and more rage generation that will work exceptionally with Mechanicos. For the phase, Destructive Reverberation will be the pick, will reduce the cooldown of Ancient Aftershock and will increase its already high damage. In your Endurance conduit slots, use Stalwart Guardian as the first one. It will decrease the cooldown of your Enraged Regeneration. For your second Endurance conduit, if you need it, go for the Condensed Anima Sphere for a little more self-sustain when taking continuous damage. For your Finesse conduits, Inspiring Presence will usually come first. It will increase the duration and health granted by Rallying Cry, a very strong and useful option, especially in raids when a big hit is about to happen. If by any means you need a second Finesse conduit, go for Safeguard, if intervening is your jam, to reduce the damage taken by your intervened target. Just don't do it on the tank. Fuck it, do it, see what happens. When you hear the other side, follow Nike and just do it, as this dungeon will provide you with one of your most powerful trinkets, the Overwhelming Power Crystal. And since it's in the name, you know we aren't lying. Care not to be killed by it. Fucking masochistic trinket. Ian, this your idea, man? The ticking nutsack of terror, Lego's middle school nickname, will have you go to the new Tazafish dungeon. Unfortunately, the lower side, because that's where the sack is. And that is the hard part of Tazavesh, or close to the hard parts. But it will be worth it for this trinket. And from the suburbs of Plaguefall, be a little good Fury champ and farm that file of putrefaction. It will be good for you. From the raid, the old warrior soul from Sylvanas is still holding on to the top spot. Even the heroic version will be very good compared to the other choices. And going back to the new raid, the prototype Pantheon again will drop for you 2 very decent trinkets. The first sigil is first. Man, I cannot come up with this shit. With a very high cooldown, but the very high amount of versatility will make it worth the use. And the Elegy of Eternals will be another very powerful pick that will provide you with extra stats of your highest one, and will share 10% of that with party members that are in the same covenant as you are. The best weapon out there will be, of course, the Gavel of the First Arbiter, from none other than the Jailer. Best villain ever, right? Although it has the highest eye level you can find in a weapon, even the normal version of this weapon will be worth holding, at least in your offense, if you cannot get a higher version, for its super strong effect. Otherwise, go for any high eye level weapons you can get from your Mythic Plus Vault weekly to 7-8 eye level, baby, let's go! And now we have reached the Legendary section, everybody. So, firstly, if you didn't finish the campaign yet and you cannot wear 2 Legendaries, go finish it right now. Come on, what are you waiting for? Now, before unlocking the 2 Legendaries though, you will use Deathmaker in Raid. Build it on your cloak slot and your Rampage will now have a good chance to put the Siegebreaker debuff on your targets. For Mythic Plus and AoE, the Signet of Tormented Kings is still the best one out there. Build it on your ring slot and you will get whichever one of the 3 you didn't just press. Bladestorm, Avatar, or Recklessness, at a lower effectiveness. If you are a Kyrian, just go for the Covenant-specific legendary Elysian Might when doing Mythic Plus, or in general AoE situations. After you have unlocked Unity, usually the best slots to build it on will be the Headpiece, Belt, or Bracers. With it, you will have your Covenant-specific legendary effect every time, so you can now combine Unity with Deathmaker in raids for the highest single target damage that you can pull off. And for Mythic Plus and AoE, of course, go with the Signet of Tormented Kings. No questions asked, it's simply the best in this situation. Yay, tier sets, finally! You will fight for them with your life, as they will put the D in your damage or your mind. Frenzied Destruction is your new friend, and it will bring increased Raging Blow damage and 1 more charge of it with the 2 set bonus, sending Raging Blow way up there in the priority list. For the 4 set bonus, Raging Blow will have a chance to provide you with Recklessness for a short time. With a Reckless Abandon talent, this proc can transform your Bloodthirst and Raging Blow into better versions of themselves too. And bigger damage, better abilities, what more can you want? Let's check the rotation. The rotation hasn't been changed by the tier set that much. Only really the legendary can alter it a little bit, as the Signet proc can proc Bladestorm and you will not be able to charge. So charge first and ask questions while Bladestorming. Your opener in single target situations with Reckless Abandon will have you use Recklessness. Charge in after, Rampage, Ancient Aftershock or Spear of Bastion next, Raging Blow, and continue with the priority. For your single target priority, use Recklessness on cooldown, Rampage when or above 80 Rage, Ancient Aftershock when enraged, Execute with Sudden Death or in execute phases, Dragon's Roar while enraged, Raging Blow on cooldown, Bloodthirst if all others are on cooldown, and finish with a Whirlwind as a filler. Your multi-target opener with Signet sees you charge in, Bloodthirst to apply enrage, Spear of Ancient Aftershock after, Recklessness in case it procs Bladestorm next, Whirlwind until Bone Grinder buff falls off, and Rampage to get enrage again if it dropped. Use Bladestorm, again Whirlwind until Bone Grinder buff falls off, and Rampage in case enrage falls off, and continue with the single target rotation. The multi-target priority is pretty much the same as single target, you will just need to have the Whirlwind buff whenever you will use a damaging ability. If you have the 4 sets, spam as many raging blows as you can. The Fury guide could not have been completed without the wonderful research of Lego, who has been helped as well by Truck and Zalak, 2 of his teammate warriors in his high mythic rating guild. A special thank you to Vil as well, a beast of a warrior who checked the script and made sure that what we say isn't stupid, because he's a much better Fury warrior than all of us put together. Is that how math works? Thank you very much, Vil. You fucking rock, man. And of course, if you want to go deeper into Fury and check the advanced stuff and maybe have access to more high-end resources, you can check the Skyhold Discord community and talk with the top warriors there in case you actually have some higher questions, advanced questions. Questions can be higher or lower. What do you want? This is English. It's not my first language. It's okay. Thank you to our patrons as well for supporting the content and making all of this possible. Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate all the effort that you guys put in with your hard-earned casherinos. We will do our best to make sure that they are worth your time and we give you actually pretty cool content. I hope you do. We actually really like what we do and we really appreciate it. How many times can I say this in so many videos? We love you guys, okay? Fucking love you. Really appreciate it. We actually couldn't do this without you guys, honestly. So thank you. And if you, the viewer, want to support us a little bit more, check the link down below and you'll get to our Patreon page. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.